Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk and Docker series. This is the first video of Docker series, which is introduction, and in this session we are going to cover about the basic concepts of Docker. What exactly is Docker? Okay, and in the next subsequent series we will see the step-by-step implementations of the Dockers on the Linux environments. So let us begin with the concept of Docker. What exactly is Docker? But before that one, let us quickly cover the system development life cycle. So what exactly is system development life cycle is how we develop the applications and how it reach to the production environments, because Docker concept is related with the same and it simplify multiple processes that we follow from development till production environment of the code. So the first step in the system development life cycle is with the development of applications. Like we have a lot of developers, they do the development of applications, and then it reaches the testing environments where you have a lot of testers with their different systems. They deploy the same code and then they do the testing of the applications. So when the application is passed from the testing environment, then you will have a different environment which is called staging or pre-prod sometimes, and we deploy the application in the staging environment and then we do the final testing before it go to the production environments, right? But during the system development life cycle complete, okay, what are the steps that exactly we follow? Okay, which is related with the time and complexity, right? So that means we have a multiple environments like development, testing, staging, and productions, and all has to be certified, all has to be on the same certified platform. That means all of the systems has to be running with the same certified platform, that means with same certified softwares. And during the building of your system you have to install the softwares. After that you have to go for the regular update and upgrades, and then you have a regular patching. Then whenever you do the deployment of your development of your application, it has to be deployed in each and every environment again before the testing, and you have to do a lot of configuration management, performance testing, and backup and restores, right? So when we specifically talk about the deployment, then when application is developed in the development environments, right? So that same application has to be redeployed in each and every environment, right? In testing, staging, and production. Similarly, when we do the configurations, okay, so any configurations that you are doing in the production, before that it has to be tested in the staging or pre-prod environment. Or many times we do the same configurations for the testing and development environment as well. If you are doing a certain kind of a performance tuning, you are updating certain kind of a parameters, right? So same parameters need to be updated in all of the environments. If you have some custom parameters that you are defining for your application, that custom parameters also need to be changed or need to be update or add in each and every environments. So what exactly is means that whatever the exercise that you are doing in one environment, you have to make sure the same is reflecting in each and every environment, which is time consuming and complex as well. And when we talk about the Docker, then your Docker hide all of these complexities in terms of the implementations, and how it is hide that we will learn this in the few initial sessions of the Docker. Right. So now there is a one condition. I'm sure you all must have faced such kind of a problems that the code which is developed in the development environment, and when it reach to your testing environment or maybe the staging environment, then your application or maybe some part of the application stopped working or may not according to the expectations. Right. There could be a lot of reasons for that one. You have certain missing libraries, some missing class paths, some missing configurations, right? But this is a very generic problem when we work in a different environments, right? And when we talk about the Docker, your Docker hide this kind of a complexity as well, where you get a certain kind of a problems that code is working in one environment and it is now not working in other environments. And how Docker help in that, that again we are going to see in our all of the Docker sessions. So where exactly does Docker operate? Okay, so we have a design phase for the code, then we do the development, and then we do the deployment, and then we do the testing and release of the code. And your Docker is operate at the deployment layer. Okay, that means during the operations or during the development life cycles where we do the continued development of our applications that we deploy in the different environments, we do the testing and then it reaches the production, and that is the layer where Docker operate and simplify the process of deploying the application between different environments. Okay, so Docker makes the process of application deployment very easy and efficient and resolve a lot of issues related to deploying the application, and how that we are going to see in all of the Docker sessions. Now, what is Docker? So, Docker is the world's leading software container platform. Okay, so you have a platform, on top of that you have a containers. Okay, so what exactly is a platform? Platform, you can say about a Docker software, which is also called a Docker engine. Okay, very straightforward, that whenever you are going to use the Docker technology, you have to install the Docker software, which is referred as a Docker engine or platform. On top of that, we build different kind of a containers, and containers pack all of the applications along with the dependencies and then shipped from one environment to other environment. So when we say that all the applications are tagged inside a container along with all the dependencies, that ensure that the application which is working on one environment will work in the other environments, because it is a package of all the application along with all the dependencies, right? So dependencies could be your software, your libraries, your dependent for other files, configurations, application code, and everything. It is everything is packed in a container, and that particular shipped to one environment to different environment. In a traditional way, what we do is we do the development of application, and then we share the developed application, right, to be deployed in the other environment. But in terms of Docker, we not only ship the application, along with that we bundle all of the dependencies, and all of the dependencies along with the application shipped as a container, and that particular container is deployed in your other environments, that ensure that you will not get such kind of a problem where it was working in some one environment but now it is not working in the other environments. And how we do that, we will going to see in all of the Docker sessions. You can relate this with the supply and chain and transportation, where we have a different manufacturers across the world. They are manufacturing different kind of a products. Those are different in shape and size and qualities. But when we talk about the shipping of the products across the world, right, especially from the overseas, then we have a standard packaging method which is called containers. So from the source, all the goods are packed in the containers, and then it is shipped, and then at the destination we unpack the containers, and then it is again distributed or redistributed to different retail or warehouses. Similarly, in the application code, we packed all the application along with the dependencies in a particular container, and that container shipped to the different environments. So what is Docker? Docker is a tool designed to make it easier to deploy and run applications by using containers. So what we are doing is that we are deploying our application, but in a way that we can avoid the dependency kind of a problems from the designing, right? So that means we are designing the application, and then we are packing the application in containers along with all the dependencies, and that container is getting shipped from one environment to other environment. So containers allow a developer to package up an application with all of the parts it needs, such as libraries and other dependencies, and ship it all out as one package. This is the functionality of your Docker and container. So that means if you have a developer who developed the application in his or her own PC, okay, so one application is developed, it can be packed in a container, right? And then when container is packed, it can be shipped to the different environments. And so when it is shipped in the different environments in the form of container which contain all the dependencies, then you will not get a kind of a problems where it was working in one environment and it is now not working in other environment. So it will work perfectly in all the environments. And what for that, what you need a Docker engine on each and every system, right? So let us talk about the basic architecture of Docker engine, or you can say about the Docker. So first we have an infrastructure layer, which is a physical host or physical server, right? On top of that we install the different operating systems like Linux or Windows, right? So once you have physical servers is running along with the operating system, then you have to install the Docker engine, or you can say the Docker platform, which is simply a Docker software. So once your Docker engine is installed, after that you are ready to create your own containers, or maybe to get the containers from the some other environments, and then you can directly run the containers. So once you will run the container, it will contain all of the dependencies, okay? And specifically when we talk about the Weblogic, then it may contain your Weblogic server installation. Along with that, it may contain the domain and all of the applications. So when you run the container, it automatically run the domain for you and start up your applications and all the dependencies and required applications, softwares, everything is packed inside the same container. Okay, and this is true for each and every product. If we talk about the Apache web server, Nginix web server, or any other middleware products, okay, we can pack all of them along with all the applications and dependencies in the single container, and then we can transfer from one environment to other environment, right? And these are the your different Docker containers. So this is the basic idea of Docker system. Thanks for watching this video and stay tuned for the next session.